Start recording. Okay, so we are back to the example. My name is Antoine. I'm showing you FOC framework. So I'm getting back to my example. We were working on an H2 database. So this is my config.properties file. The config.properties file is under the properties folder in my main project, my main web project. Okay, so in my config.properties file, I was pointing to my H2 database. I decided to go for my Postgres database. I prepared the database, I created it, it's still empty. Okay, so I'm going to put it down so it will take priority in the properties. Okay, now let me run again the server, running my Tomcat. Once it runs, I go to my application, where is it? Didn't I have here? Here it is. No, it's not. Localhost. It was in another one. Puff, sorry. Puff. Here it is. Now it is loading, and while it's loading, you can notice a part of the exceptions. It's not very important. You can notice that the system automatically detected, okay, we have some exceptions in here, but don't mind them for the moment. Yeah, you can notice that we were creating tables and indexes. You can see this in the log. Okay, this is the log for creates automatically, and it's telling us that at login, the system detected that there is no tables and it started creating them. So if I come here now in the Beaver to my database, schemas, the public schema, tables, now I have my tables. They were created. Okay, I should have my employee table somewhere. Employee table somewhere. This is my employee table. Okay, this is for my entity. The rest are tables that FOC needs. Okay, this is the admin module needs them. You don't mind them a lot. Let's focus on our business objects. Employees. This is the employee, the columns. I can see that in the Beaver. First name, last name, date of birth, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we have here our new field, the overtime hourly rate. Okay, we have it now. Okay, I have some errors. These are the exceptions that we saw in the log. Okay, don't mind them. Okay, so the initial database is created with a company named empty and a site headquarters, fine. And the user FOC admin is created automatically with no password, and that's it. This is why I land here. Now I can go. If I go to my menu, I see nothing. Why? Because FOC admin by default doesn't have the rights on the menu of the employees. What is the menu of the employees? Let me go back to my employee entity. Okay. And let me go to this employee module. There is something called employee module. You see it? This class is declared somewhere. So whenever you have a business module that is created, it's up to you to organize yourselves in business modules. In the recent projects, we are almost putting every form in a separate module, which allows us to give the rights to people on the forms separately. Whatever, it's up to you. So here I have the module is like this. I'm not going to go into literally how you write the module, and I'm just going to say globally what it contains. A module declares itself through a code. The code here is employee, the module name. You should not change this because the module name is written in the database, and later everything is identified according to this module name. If you want to change what is displayed, you change this. The employee management, not employee management, whatever. Okay? This is the package where the first package where the employee module will search for entities. Yes? and this package must be exactly my package here, otherwise, isn't it? Because otherwise, yeah, this is the package. So it's the package of the employee table, and this package here is the package for the GUI. We will see very soon how we build GUI based on Vaadin, Fock Vaadin. Okay, and that's it. Here it's just displayed module name and the version ID. The version ID is very important, and we will use it now. I will show you what we will do with it. Okay, and the menu tree, I will talk about the menu tree when we get to the GUI part. Okay, but here also this menu tree will be built only if the user has the rights on this module. So to get back to the idea of the module, just because, yes, go for it.
I have a question. Is it mandatory to have a different module for each distinct entity? So for
No,
example,
not at all.
Oh,
Not
okay.
at all. You can have as many entities as you should mainly organize them in business logic. Let's imagine that you are building an ERP with an accounting module and a stock module. So typically you would have an accounting module and a stock module here. In the accounting module, what do you have usually? You have invoices, because you invoice your clients usually in the accounting. Okay, you might have receipts. Once they pay, you give them a receipt. You will have configuration objects, because you have, I don't know, the list of clients, the list of, all these objects might be part of your finance module, accounting module. Okay, and there are lots of entities, and you will have here lots of menu entries for the same module. Once you gain access to the accounting module, you get automatically access to a few menus. Okay, so this is the idea. Now if I see this is my employee, then what was I saying? I was saying that to gain access to the employee module, because here I can see nothing in my tree of menus, I can go to my gear, to my settings, to admin. I can see that the user Fock admin, this is my user, okay? Fock admin has group Fock admin, right? So I'm gonna go out and go to the groups, Fock admin. The Fock admin group has some access to some web modules. Let's go to the web modules. You see, by default, the Fock admin module is created with admin rights on these two modules. I will add to it my employee management. You remember the title, employee management, and the other title that I said that we should never change, it's here, employee. And I come here, I say granted or granted plus config. The difference in the rights here is either you give the user the rights to the module to use it, either you give it the right to use it and configure it. Like for example, all the lookups that you will have, the list of clients might be in the lookup, employee type, salary type, let's say. These are lookups, are drop downs that you can change, but they are sort of part of the configuration. So this is why you wouldn't have access to them unless you put plus config. I'm giving all to Fock now, saved. Oops, now I can see my menu, okay? And this is the employee list. This is the only menu for the moment under the main employee management module, whatever, menu item. So I go to employee list. I have my table. We will see how to build a table like this one. I go to add, I have my components and everything. I have just added a field called salary, blah blah, whatever it was, hourly, salary hourly, something like this. Let's go back to it. And it was created in the adapt data model. Like, I'm going to do a small tweak to it. Overtime hourly rate, I'm going to change the name of the field. I'm going to put it overtime OH rate. overtime, hourly rate. Okay, this is the name of the field in the database. I highly recommend to have this constant having the same name as this. Okay, but now just because I'm playing, I'm not gonna, we will refactor it. Let's go play it by the rules. Overtime, hourly rate. Okay, I have changed the name of the field. What does this mean in terms of database compatibility with the executable? If I run the executable now, if I run my program now, the program is expecting to have a field called OH rate, right? But it doesn't have that. It has something called overtime, hourly rate, but this is not the field we want, and it's not included in the table at all. So there's some incompatibility. If I do nothing about it, I'll get errors. So if I don't tell the software that there will be, what we'll do when I click this, I'm doing a select. I'm doing a select, and it's saying, oh, OH rate does not exist, because FOC prepared the select statement, and FOC prepared it right. It included the OH rate in the fields. I go up enough. It does, every time it does 3 attempts. Okay, look at the select. Here you have the OH rate, right? From employee. It didn't find it. So the database threw exceptions because you have overtime hourly. Okay, what we will do is we will run an adapt data model. What is adapt data model? It's a feature that tells FOC to go and look at the database, see what's inside the database, and alter the columns accordingly to be able to match what the executable has. Okay, you agree on that? So
the fog now will go and drop the tables, let's say, and rebuild from scratch, or just take a look at the fields and match them.
the second option, it will take a look at the fields and match them. Now the thing is that as a developer, I didn't pay attention to the fact that I changed the name of a field, so I will drop it and create it, but I did this on purpose now. Adapt data model, okay? I am running it by hand, manually. This is not the usual way of doing it. I'm gonna do it. Yes, adapt data model, blah. What did the adapt data model do? I can see here some log. There is an alter somewhere. I saw it. Alter table employee add OH rate numeric 10-2. Okay, and I have this one, alter table employee drop column overtime hourly rate. Now maybe I'm aware that I'm dropping the column. So when you change the name of a column, be aware, if you change the name of the column and the entity, be aware that if you have data in it, it will be dropped and another field will be created. Okay, this is logical. You are telling the system that you don't have this column anymore and you have this one. So the system will drop the previous and create a new. Usually we never do that. We keep the old one, we create a new one, and we might copy some data from the old one to the new one. You can manage this in the Java code. But let us focus now on the fact that FOC did it for you. Yes? Did you prepare some scripts for it? We didn't prepare. Go.
So this is a framework you are using. I guess you already developed this this framework that runs in the background.
Yes.
It will check the table and create the
Exactly.
alter and create the column. Why don't you add a simple script to this specific part where you can update the table, and once you create a new column, you update the table and you set all the values of the new column equal to the old column. So by doing that, you will move the data from the old column to the new column, and after that you can drop the column.
Exactly. Bella, this is what we do usually when we are changing the name of the column, or maybe not change, maybe changing the type of the column, because, well, okay, you don't, it's never urgent to change the name of a column, you know, but it's sometimes urgent to change the type of it. And when you are changing the type of it, like you are moving from an integer to double, maybe from something like that, from a boolean to an integer multiple choice, whatever. In this case, yes, we need to create a new field and to copy the values of the old fields. And when
This
you,
scenario case is already covered in the back.
it's covered.
Specific framework.
It's
Yeah,
covered,
okay.
but you need to do some coding because it's a particular behavior. But
Okay.
let me go through it step by step. Let me first say that I'm gonna change something in my framework. I'm gonna add in my employee, I'm gonna add a field. It's a string field and saying comment. Okay. 100 characters and the comment. Okay. I created a new field now. It's here. The best practice is once you create a field and you didn't commit and deploy yet, so it's only here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increment the version ID of my module. I have set it to 1001. Save. So now if I shut the server and run it again, if I run my application, the server is really run and loaded when you first load the page. If you can see here in the log, it already did an adapt data model. You see, you have here select, when you see the select étoile, where 1 equal 2, so it never brings any data, but it does this for every table to know what's the content of the fields. So let's see the alter here. Alter table employee, add comment, varchar 100. Now I will not have my errors. I don't have errors. I can go in. It's fine. Okay. Why? Because the application compared, you have compared the version ID of the framework versus the version ID in the database. So if I go here and go to version, data, where is the data here? Columns, data. You see, this is the table. It contains here, in the table, in the database, we have the level, the module ID, the module version ID of this module. Okay? Now imagine that I decide to go back to 1000 because it's, before I do this exercise, you see the interest of this, because if I did a change to the database, in other situations, if I'm not using Fog, I might be required to develop or to auto-generate a script, SQL script, right? Don't you do that usually? You generate your SQL script and you put it somewhere and you say that you need to run this script to change the database situation because you are passing from version X to version X plus 1. This is what you usually do. Maybe you put the script, you run it manually, you run it automatically, I don't know, but there's a script that needs to be run, to be developed, and to be placed in place. Fog automatically compares and does this this adapt data model thing, and it's a safe procedure for Fog. You can run it anytime. To trigger it automatically, you increment the version ID. You say it's not 1000, it's 1001. So at startup, the server will say, hey, I have an upgrade to apply. So the server decides automatically to check the differences between database and exe and to adapt. And you don't care if the system is passing from version 1 to 6 or from version 5 to 6. You just let Fog do it by comparing what's in the database to what's in your entities. Okay? This is one. Now, the thing that we need to know is that if I decide to go back version backwards, Fog has a protection it doesn't accept. Okay? That's the condition inside. So if I do If I run it now, it will say no, sorry, I cannot go to, I cannot go backward.
So let's say we didn't let's say in case we didn't change the version ID.
Here it's
If I
saying
s-
that you cannot upgrade. This is the error message. Yes, sorry. Yes, go for it. Tell
So
me.
let's say we didn't change the version ID. We can simply do an adapt data model from the UI,
Mhm.
and it will update the database for us, right?
Yes, you can do
So
that.
the version ID, the main purpose of the version ID is whenever we are going to restart the server, right?
The thing is that in the version ID is that you don't have to be there and do things manually when you deploy. If I'm deploying live and I run I shut down the server, I deploy, I run the server will automatically do an adapt data model and enter in a safe place without giving errors and without waiting for the manual intervention. You know, like I had automated the deployment in one of our customer at midnight, and and it wasn't like something online. It was something really you have to be on site. So I used to put my version in a place. I have my cron thing that will run the deployment and go home. And during the night, the deployment will be done. At midnight, the server shuts down. We copy the files. We run the server, and then automatically you have the adapt data model being done without manual intervention. So it was really practical this way. Okay.
Because in the first example you didn't change the version, you simply changed the name of the field and you went to the UI and you pressed on the adapt data model.
Yes, exactly. I
This is
want to.
because you are doing it manually.
Yes, I decided just to show you the error, to show you what happens, and why I am doing an adapt data model. So if I'm doing a development,
So the adapt data model is good for us as developers while we
yes,
are implementing the changes in
yes,
the application. So it's not
exactly.
for it shouldn't be used by users. It's only for us as developers.
Yes, yes, yeah. I mean, actually, it's in the settings. It's in the admin part. So the user will not have access to it. Not a normal user will not have access to it. Only the user that knows what these things are and has to manage the database and things like that. Okay. So we did the adapt data model now, and we have our entity. Shall we go for the GUI? Because I think that now that we have, we need to
So
put.
for now, it's just you are show us how the business model is
Is built.
implemented.
Yeah, is built. No, you're right. I'm just showing how the business model is built. And now I will use this model to have to put in the GUI.
Is being populated and how when we create a module, how the module appear in the UI. Right. So for now, we are keep it simple, and we are seeing how the framework works.
Exactly.
We're not going in details in how in the structure of the framework itself, right?
No, we're not going in the structure of the framework, although we can. We will start by using it now. Next phase, we can go and see how things are built, but
it's an advanced phase because I guess we don't need it right now because it's stable, right?
exactly. And once you need to debug something, you need to add something, I can simply guide you, and I'm pretty sure you will find things. You will find your way in it. But yeah, we are using it, and it's stable. Yeah, it's stable.
Okay.
So let me now see how the GUI is built. Okay, I will do this in another video. Okay, so let us stop